the third stop of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. And welcome to Hubbard, Ohio, near Youngstown. Some of the best bowlers in the U.S. are from this part of the country. And in this event, the best from Ohio take on the best from 11 other states. Now, it's time to crown the champion. Hi, everybody. Good to have you with us. I'm Bob Dolan with Earl Anthony. And what a final field of three we have. A terrific field. And Earl, let's start right at the top. Our number one seed, Columbia Coodasees.
Well, this is a very experienced team, and it seems to be the byword, experience. But I think the factor that they took over early on in the match play and dominated match play is the key, because this is a match play event on television. The thing that could make the big difference for Columbia Coodasees is the fact they have three left-handers on their team. The lane condition might hold up a little better on the left side than the right. That could be a factor.
Sure, always looking out for those lefties, aren't you?
Darn right,
That's
boy.
Right. Now, our semifinal matchup is a dandy to begin with. Number 2 against number 3. Turbo 2-in-1 grips against Vice grips.
Well, it's the grips against the grips. What can you say? What it really comes down to is you're going to see a lot of familiar faces. Two very strong teams, both again with that keyword experience. They've been here before. What they're looking for, though, is to get to that grand championship. The winner of this match will give Columbia Seas all they can handle.
Well, it's a great lineup, and we're glad you're here to watch. Semifinal matchup coming right up. We'll be right back from Hubbard, Ohio.
The Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge is brought to you by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Lynn Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of bowlers worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
From the Bellwick Bowl in Hubbard, Ohio, the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Bob Dolan and Earl Anthony with you. Our semifinal match is coming up. Vice Grips, our number 3 seed, against the number 2 seed, Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. And John Masiello will be the leadoff man for Vice Grips. Masiello, 40 years old, a league average 232.
And right out of the gate, first shot, a little high on the head pin. The baby split to 310. Spare shooting really hasn't been a factor. Most of the players haven't had a problem converting spares. You see John going after another bowling ball here that'll go a little straighter for him. A big cupped wrist, but he'll open that wrist at the bottom now for this spare. He doesn't want to hook it a lot.
And an open frame in the first for Vice Grips.
Well, those things are going to happen. Even though both these teams have a lot of experience, they're both still a little bit nervous as we start the show.
ABC Hall of Famer Steve Fair. He bowls leadoff for Turbo 2-in-1 and gets the strike in the first.
That's what got him in the Hall of Fame, the ability to get the ball in play under any situation. Steve Fair, great leadoff man, because he generally can read the lanes very quickly.
The lineup for Vice Grips, Contour Power Grip starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Chris Barnes in the second hole for Vice Grips. The familiar Barnes, and he gets the strike.
Barnes, one of those guys that likes to get the ball in the lane very early. He'll adjust with ball speed to get it farther down the lane as far as break point goes, but as far as rolling the ball, he gets it on the lane immediately. He wants it to roll down the lane and set up in the pocket, which he did.
Let's look at the lineup for Turbo 2-in-1 Grips now. Contour Power Grip starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Kurt Pylon, second frame for Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. Pylon, the youngest bowler on this team, Earl, just 23.
And he leaves a fairly simple spare here, even though there's a lot of ways to miss it. I don't think he should have much of a problem. He'll take a bowling ball, stand to the left, use as much of the lane as he can, try to skid it across the center of the lane, let the ball back in between the 3 and the 6. Want to get both pins with the ball if you can. See him standing to the left here. He'll relax his wrist so he doesn't hook it a lot. So pretty hard, pretty straight, right at it.
Well done for Pylon in the second for Turbo 2-in-1 grips. Now third frame, Jack Jurek, the owner of one PBA title, 32 years old.
You know, as you go through these lineups, Bob, we look at these players. We've seen them all so many times before. And the thing is, as you go down the lineups, they seem to get stronger and stronger, player by player.
Beautiful shot by Jurek in the third. So after the open in the first from Masiello, a double from Barnes and Jurek. Dave Bernhardt, third frame for Turbo 2-in-1 grips. They're from Chesterfield, Michigan. And in the position round, Earl, these guys put up scores of 235, 234 to jump into the stepladder finals.
Well, Dave had no idea what was going to happen there. That wasn't where he was practicing. That would have to be kind of a gamble there, taking a chance, trying to make a difference. You can see his timing is completely gone. The ball never got to the right of the headpin. Ball never had a chance. And this spare is very tough. 1, 3, 6, 10. He's going to try to get the ball into the strike area, just like he would trying to throw a strike.
And there's our first open for Turbo. It comes in the third from Bernhardt. Now our first look at Brad Kozuski, filling the fourth and ninth frame for Vice Grips. Working on the double. 3 in a row for Vice Grips.
And they're running them out. Remember, folks, this is a 2-game total pin match. So they'll bowl a full game on lane 9 and their opponent a full game on lane 10. Then they'll switch lanes. So the 2 games, total pins to win the match, to advance to the championship match.
And waiting for him there, Columbia Kudasees, our #1 seed. Nick Wissinger. Fourth frame for Turbo. Look out!
Well, that's what they call the messenger. He's got the pin coming back across, just the head of the head pin itself. Watch the pins as they fly to the left. Watch what happens here. The head pin goes off the wall, comes all the way back across, and knocks out the pin. That's called the messenger.
From Wissinger.
Right. Hey, I like that, Bob. That's good.
24 pin lead for Vice Grips. They're from Buffalo. And Mike Newman is their anchor man.
And he's one of the best anchor men in the country. This guy can play, especially in the clutch. When you need him to make a good shot, Mike generally will be there for you.
Well, this, as many of our matches are, Earl, shapes up to be a great battle of the anchor men. Newman for Vice Grips. Ted Hannes, of course, the pro bowler. He's the anchor man for Turbo. Newman in the fifth.
Oh my, that doesn't happen very often. Top the 6 right off the 10. Very unique approach here, Bob. We've seen Ted Hannes obviously many times before. You mentioned he's their anchor man. This guy is really bowling well right now. Finished 6th last week in a PBA event in Indianapolis. Watch his footwork. We get a chance, we'll show you his footwork, which goes from right to left as he throws the ball to the right. It's a good angle here. Watch him walk to the left, throw the ball to the right.
And it sure has worked for him, hasn't it? A strike here from Hannes in the fifth for Turbo 2-in-1 Grips as they slice into the lead. The lead held by #3 Vice Grips. The lead down to 1. We'll be right back. Second time around now for all the bowlers. John Masiello filling the 6th frame for Vice Grips. First game of a 2-game match. And Masiello, after that open frame in the first, comes back with a strike here in the 6th.
As we've said so many times in the past, if you look at the bowler's shirt, you'll see a number, as you see Steve Fair there with the number on his chest. 1-6 means he bowls the 1st and the 6th frame. Just to give you an idea, if it's 3-7, that means 3rd and 7th. It'd actually be 3-8. Shouldn't have said that. 3-8.
There's 2 for 2. I would think, Earl, when you talk about Steve Fair, it's almost a perfect leadoff man.
And we're going to take a look at his game, which this is what made him a Hall of Famer. Watch the consistency, the steady head. Now here is what makes Steve Fair great. Right here, the balance, long follow through, and the head stayed very perfectly level. And that rolling the wrist around the side of the ball gives him the pin action he needs in the back end.
7th frame now for Vice Grips. Chris Barnes Three-time Team USA member. And he got a break there. Barnes, 2 gold medals in the '95 Pan Am Games. 88% on the spares and take the match play for vice grips. And as we say, every event, Earl, filling the frames is one of the most important keys in the Baker.
No question about it. Chris Barnes filling in this week for Brian Eaton, who normally would be with this team. Chris Barnes bowls for Team USA. He's one of the best amateurs, if not the best amateur in the country. So he's always a welcome fill-in if someone needs a substitute.
Now this is Kurt Pylon. In the 7th for Turbo. Beautiful shot from Pylon.
Well, they got it going now. It's just a matter of staying lined up to finish the rest of the game. Take another look at that shot. You can see how far out on the lane he gets the ball to the right. Look at the rotation. Tremendous rotation. And there's a ball that did not roll out, as so many of them try to get it to do now. Roll out and set up. That one finished hard. Went right over the 8-pin spot.
Turbo leading by 20. Jack Sherman in the 8th for vice grips.
The lane condition here is very playable. It's not an easy condition. It's not a real difficult. Even though the qualifying scores were lower than normal, the condition is a very fair one across the house. The players just have to make good shots. And these guys, all 15 players that we're going to watch this afternoon, are capable of making great shots.
And match play Jurek in 98% of his frames. And he gets the spare here in the 8th for vice grips. Let's look at some of the scores this week, Earl, from Belwick Bowl in Hubbard, Ohio. The high game from Columbia, 1176. John's Barbecue next at 1092. High games, 289. We're going to see Brian a little later on in our championship match. Dave Pardo, 8th frame for Turbo 2-1.
Well, Dave seems to be a little bit confused out there, especially on lane 10, which he hasn't had a chance to show you what he can do on lane 9, of course. But lane 10 seems to be, he's much deeper on the lane. He's inside the 4th arrow and not getting the ball reaction you would expect it that deep.
A 30-pin lead now for Turbo. Remember, though, a full game to go. High series, there's Brian Bogosian again, and high qualifying averages. And he's the anchor man for our #1 seed, 2 deceased. 9th frame for vice grips, Brad Kozlowski.
Here's another look at that shot. Watch what happens here. You see the pin go to the sidewall, come back, and once in a while you'll get all 3 to fall, get real lucky. Don't get careless. Easy to miss the spare. Only the head pin. It looks lonely down there by itself.
Oh, it's got it, Kozlowski. Sure does. He gets the spare in the 9th for vice grips, and that brings up Nick Wissinger. 9th frame for Turbo 2-1 grips.
They can take a very, very big lead, a commanding lead, you might say, if they can put this game out all the way 9th and 10th. I like this guy's game. Good, solid game, great approach, good balance at the foul line, stays with the shot extremely well. And that one got away. Just as I said how good he was, he missed a head pin. How many times have I done that? It seems like every time. 1-3-6.
I lost count.
Yep, 1-3-6, and now this is a tough spare. And if he should open here, it's anybody's match again. It comes right back to almost even. Only be about an 18-pin difference, and that would come down to the 10th frame. So tough spare. Oh my!
Threw that one down there and got it.
Not the way he planned on getting it, I'll tell you that. But he got it. And that's all that counts. Here's another look at it. Watch the head pin go to the sideball. Board come all the way back, kick out the 6. It's a good thing they have sideboards in bowling, or you know, it'd be hard to average 150 without those sideboards.
30-pin lead still for Turbo 2-1 grips, down to the anchorman, 10th frame.
This is where they need Newman. This is what he's good at. He puts them back into the match generally. He'll keep them close or get them back into it. He got down way out there. I did it again. That's 2 for 2.
Remember, Newman had trouble.
Got down and almost didn't get any.
Really, in his first frame, remember, Earl, the 5th frame, he had an open frame, so he is confused at the moment.
Look at this. The ball almost tilted into the channel. Got only the 6, 9, 10. Well, the good thing about it is they're all in a bunch. And last year, when we were here for the telecast and Newman was there, he was playing right up the 2nd arrow, going hard and straight. Now he's trying to hook it. I wonder why. Got to hurry. That's
That's 2 opens for Mike Newman, their anchorman, in this first game.
Well, that's about a 30-pin turnaround. If he'd struck out, they could have had 202. Instead, he goes up there, gets a 3 count and a 3 count for 171, 31 pins. Big difference. Now Turbo 2-1 with a 230 possibility. Ted Hanna's the guy you want to see up there. Gets a couple of strikes. You got a 60-pin lead. That's awesome. What a turnaround.
Hanna struck in the 5th. Very deliberate.
You know, he gets a little bit beyond deliberate sometimes. Ted can get real slow on the approach, real slow getting ready, and sometimes that can work against you.
I'm trying to be polite.
Well, he's a tremendous player. There's no question he's a wonderfully talented player, but sometimes you can think too long. On the spare here, you see the open-wristed release of Ted Hanna's for the spare. Nothing on it, just end over end.
He's had a tremendous career, and he's only 36 years old. 3 PBA national titles, 11 regional titles, and also world, a 1995 winner of the Peterson.
Well, they have where he's from in Zanesville, Ohio, they have a bridge that goes in 3 directions and meets, crosses the rivers there. And I think that's where Ted learned his approach, going from one section of that bridge to the other and walking around the other one.
Yeah, you normally would not advocate an approach like this.
This is not a way to. No, I don't want people to copy this approach. You could get hurt doing this. This is not something for the folks at home. But it works for Ted Hanna's, and that's what counts.
And he gets the strike. Turbo 2-1 grips will have a nice lead as we head into our second game. Remember, it's 2 games total pinfall. The lead is 50 for Turbo. We'll be right back. From Bellwick Bowl in Hubbard, Ohio. Game 2 of our semifinal match, and Turbo 2-1 grips won the first one, 221-171, so a 50-pin lead as we begin the second one with Steve Fair. Now remember here, Earl, they've switched lanes for game 2.
Exactly, and you can see what happens sometimes when they switch lanes. It's not necessarily that the lanes were dressed differently, but just sometimes there's been more play over the years on one lane bed than the other. Sometimes the oil moves a little quicker, the dressing moves around a little faster, the players have to make an adjustment. There is a transition period. The lanes will make several transitions throughout the telecast, and the players that adjust or make the best shots as the oil is moving around are the ones that are going to win this match.
And Fair got the spare in the first. Again, Turbo with a 50-pin lead as we started this second game of the semifinal match.
And that was a big spare. It didn't look like it was going to be that difficult, maybe to you folks at home, for Steve Fair to pick that spare up. But in the minds of the players on the team, don't want to start with an open. It just doesn't make you feel good about it. Mentally, you're down. This way, they're still in there. They haven't lost a thing.
Osceola really liked that shot. The 7-pin, though, still up.
We've talked about how experienced both these teams are. In fact, all 3 teams are very experienced. And one of the things that comes along with bowling the Baker system and learning to adjust to the lanes very quickly is you pay more attention to the other team. You watch how their ball is reacting. All these players have bowled against each other periodically over the years. They know the other person's game. Not only the guys on their own team, but they know the players on the other team. So they watch them roll the ball, watch how it reacts, and it helps them line up when they switch lanes.
How important that is, and we've seen it time and time again. The team that watches the opponents, how the ball reacts, the lane adjustments, usually the team that's going to win. Now, Kurt Pylon, second frame. For Turbo. Pylon with a spare and a strike in the first game, and he's got trouble here.
Well, basically the same reaction Steve Fair got. Steve Fair was fortunate enough to miss the head pin, so he had a much easier spare. Here, he gets just enough of the head pin, and I'm sure that when Steve Fair came back, he commented, hey, this lane isn't reacting as well on the back end. I'm not getting as much hook on the back. And here's a look at a very tough spare. So Ted Hanna's gets up there, and he probably says, now, hey, use this for a lineup shot. Just go ahead and shoot like a strike ball. We need you later on in the match. In the 7th frame, we need you to get a strike. So he might not even try to pick this up. He might just throw a strike ball, which is what he's doing, trying to figure it out. And that's what he's trying to get, a ball reaction. That's a smart thing to do. Ted Hanna's a very experienced player, getting up, a former professional, trying to help him out there and say, hey, let's be smart here. Let's take advantage of this split.
Piece of advice.
The 2-8-10 almost impossible split anyway, so it was a good move.
All right, Chris Barnes, second frame for
vice grips.
Watch where Chris lays the ball down, right at the foul line. Immediately it's on the lane. You don't hardly even hear it hit the lane. And sometimes the ball will hook incredibly early, and it's almost impossible to get it on the right side of the head pin. And remember the problems that Dave Bernhardt had on this lane, playing inside. The ball kept hooking hard left. And here's Dave on the other lane. Now, basically, if he plays the same place and gets the same ball reaction, the ball will probably be flush in the pocket. So we'll see what happens with Dave Bernhardt.
All right, the lead, 150, now down to 36 for Bernhardt in the third.
It's not even close. Now that's kind of surprising. Here's a guy that has been around a long time, knows how to play the game pretty well, and it looked to me like he switched bowling balls on the left lane without even giving the other one a try, and played way inside. The ball never had a chance. It just barely got to the right-hand side of the head pin and then turned over very hard.
And he got the spare, and he's happy to sit down. You try it. Jack Jurek in the third for vice grips.
Jurek throws what I call a workman-like ball. He's a blue-collar bowler. He gets it down the lane with enough to get him out, but not so much that he has to overhook it. He can keep the ball in play a lot better than most players. The guys that throw the big hook, they tend to have the bigger splits, the more problems, the tougher spares. Jack Jurek very seldom gets in trouble because he's a blue-collar player. He just goes down the lane and gets the job done. No frills.
And is that why you would have him, Earl, in this position in the lineup?
I'd always liked that kind of a game. I'd have 5 of these guys if I could get them.
Would you?
If I had a team out there, I'd like to have 5 guys like Jack Jurek, Dave Ferraro, somebody like that. I want the guys that just make their spares and get the ball in the pocket.
Well, it's tightened up a little bit from 50 down to 36. Turbo still on top. We'll be right back. Turbo 2-1 grips hanging on. They lead by 36 in the second game of our semifinal match. Remember, the winner takes on #1 Columbia overseas in the championship match. Nick Wissinger in the fourth frame for Turbo.
That left lane looks like it's really going to be a struggle. And we have seen so many times in the past how quickly a lead, even a substantial lead of 50 pins, can turn around. Give you a quick rundown on what the format is in this particular game, as it is in all the World Team Challenges. Every team in the field, of which were 46 this week, bowled 6 qualifying games, regular team games of qualifying, and then the top 10 teams based on total pinfall advanced to the match play, which is all Baker. The Baker system being you just help your team twice each game. You see the number as I mentioned on the chest. That's the frames he bowls, 4th and 9th. Now after 20 games of Baker, including a position round, and they carry their pinfall over, then they get bonus pins of 15 if you win a game, 20 more if you win the total pins for that 2-game match. Those bonus pins are carried forward, and I hope that's not too confusing, but the top 3 teams, as you see this evening, advance to the telecast.
Look, they're 0 for 14 on split conversions in match play, and now here in the step-ladder finals, they've missed another one. That open in the fourth from Kozuski.
And just bad luck there. Brad made a pretty good shot, and when he gets part of the head pin like that, he's going to get better pin action, and the 8-10 on that kind of a hit will happen maybe 1 out of 100 for him.
Now back to their anchorman, Ted Hannes. A couple of strikes for Hannes in the first game. And his first ball on this lane, number 9, a strike for Hannes.
Well, now that shows everybody something right there. Now, they've spent a lot of time talking back and forth on the bench. The whole team struggling, trying to get lined up on the left-hand lane. Finally, they got a pretty good idea where to play, well, how to throw it. And Ted Hannes got up there and did it, and he made it happen. That's a great player, really good shot maker, doing what everybody got together and said, this is where we should be. Now, we'll see what they can do the second time through the lineup.
You want to hear Earl's shocking statistic of game 1. This man, the anchorman, Mike Newman, 15 pins total.
No, that won't happen very often. I'll tell you what, I'll still like that Mike Newman. I might not believe it. And you won't see anybody that's on the bench down there for this team saying, hey, we don't want you on our team anymore. This guy can play. He's a good player, and he'll get it back. He could be the factor at the end of this match. You never know.
The lead for Turbo, 48 pins. As we come down the home stretch now, Steve Fair in the 6th. Fair with 3 ABC tournament titles, 94 ABC Bud Light Masters champion, and a strike here in the 6th for Fair.
Well, then again, we come back to that old word, that old standby experience. There it is. That shows you something right there. They talked it over. Hannah's got lined up, got the strike. Steve Fair comes up right behind him. Another ABC Hall of Famer makes the great shot. They get the double.
Masiello for Vice Grips.
They really have to have this one. He needs this one desperately. Give this team any chance at all to stay in the match.
And he got it. Went the other side, but he got it.
I'm always impressed by how the guys are turned around like, well, gee, I guess I'll have to take that.
Can Turbo close them out? We'll be right back with the end of the semifinal match. The lead for our number 2 seed Turbo 2-in-1 Grips is 48 as we enter the 7th frame. Kurt Pylon. Pylon had an open lane number 9, but responds with a strike here in the 7th.
Well, they have definitely got it figured out now, and such an important thing, and they can't overemphasize the ability of these players to talk and listen and pay attention and line up on each other's ball reaction. Chris Barnes again, remember his ball hooked extremely hard and very early. See what he can do here. Very seldom see Chris get the ball out over the foul line. Almost always lays it down early and makes a difference with the ball speed or the rotation. That's how it determines where it's going to go. See how early he's on the lane with that? The ball just doesn't want to skid for him.
Oh, he got it to go. And he didn't even know it. He had already turned around.
Well, he's coming back here thinking, now what am I going to do? Here's another look at that big high arm swing, tremendous ball speed, but look where he lays it down. It's on the lane already. Playing way left, and there's that rollout effect, and the ball just never had a chance. And here's another guy with the same problem. Right here. He's got the same problem. He has the right-hand side of the head pin, and there's the 9-10. Not a difficult spare, but the same thing. You know, this match is a long way from over, and this right there, this kind of a shot right here, where all he has to do is get it on the other side of the head pin and give his chance for the ball to strike, and he can't get it over there. This could definitely hurt his team. He wants to fit the ball between the two pins, get both pins with the ball.
This team 3 for 9 on split conversions in the Baker format. And he got it. Dave Bernhardt in the 8th.
See, that's a big turnaround. Not only did he not strike, but then he could have had an open that would have been disaster for his team, both emotionally and the scoreboard up there. But instead, he picks it up, and that pumps him up, turns him around the other way. Now, it just makes it that much tougher for Jack Jurek to get up and get this one and keep the strain going for Vice Grips.
And the string is broken by Jurek.
Well, that was they couldn't afford to make any mistakes. They needed them all, and now they're running out of frames. But again, 2 frames to go. Boy, in this Baker system, who knows?
We had a great field here at Belwick Bowl Earl in Hubbard, Ohio. Very competitive field, a lot of quality. And it's always a struggle to get into the top 10. And let's look at some of our top finishers. These guys, S&B Pro Shop from Madison Heights, Michigan, were in 2nd going into the position round and then fell down to 4th. Columbia Turbo from Ohio qualified in 5th, and in 6th, the team from Cincinnati. Wissinger, 9th. Turbo.
All right, another tough spare. So they're still in this thing. Running out of frames, but pin count is going to be so important. If, for example, he were to miss this, let's say he does, 170 in the 9th, maybe they shoot 190. The possibility of 411 for the 2 games. That basically will do the job. But if they were to get bad pin count with a maximum for their opponent of, say, 397 if they strike out, anything can happen. So remember, we watched a great player in Mike Newman get up here and get 3 and 3 out.
Finishing 7th here in Hubbard, Ohio, Mez's Vice Grips from Dayton, Ohio. And in 8th place, Trev DeFox from Cincinnati. Again, we had teams from 11 states plus Washington, D.C. The home team finished in 9th. A strike in the 9th for Kozuski.
And that was it. They had to have that one to have any even dream of a chance. And with Ted Hanna's up there, that's not very likely that he's going to make a mistake that could give them a chance to get back into it. But who knows?
Well, the lead is 45.
pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Ted Hannahs a winner. The ability to make good shots when everybody says, we need one from you, big guy. He gets up there and does it.
Rounding out our top 10 in the Baker match play, Talks and Tips, a team from Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
We talked about there being 46 teams here, and this is one of our stronger fields when you consider the talent, as you mentioned, Bob, throughout the all 46 teams. It was a very strong field, very competitive field, and by that I mean the 10th place team only qualified over the 11th place team by 4 pins, and then it was another 3 or 4 pins to the 12th place team, so it was very close, very competitive all the way through.
Well, our number 1 seed, Earl Columbia Cuda-Seas, watching Ted Hannahs, and he is lined up on lane number 9, and that's not good news for the number 1 team.
Well, there's always a difference, or an advantage, you might say, for the team that won the match before, bowling for the championship. But the difference could be, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the difference could be the 3 lefties on the Cuda-Sea team.
And Hannahs closes it out with 3 in a row and a convincing victory here in the semifinals for Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. They will move on to take on our number 1 seed Columbia Cuda-Seas as Mike Newman wraps it up for Vice Grips, the number 3 seed. Interesting, in head-to-head, Vice Grips beat Turbo 2-in-1 402-397, but here in the Stepladder TV Finals, Turbo 2-in-1 Grips turns the table and wins convincingly.
Well, the turning point in that match, in my opinion, was Mike Newman in the 10th frame first game, when he went up and got 3 on the first ball, 3 on the second ball, and that really was a turnaround. It was like a 30-pin swing at that point. But these guys will be back. They're great players. They'll get back here again and take another shot at it.
It will be our championship match, Columbia Cuda-Seas against Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, but first around the bowling world right after this. Championship match of our Brunswick World Team Challenge event in Belwick Bowl in Hubbard, Ohio features our number 1 seed Columbia Cuda-Seas against the number 2 seed Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, and number 1 Columbia will start things off with Mike Lickstein. He bowls leadoff for them, and you're about to see, Earl, one of the most unusual approaches in the game.
Well, when we get a chance, we'll show you on the other approach, really, what this is all about. But this is another one you don't want to copy. You could get hurt.
Now
only
Columbia,
the 3 and the 9.
Columbia begins on the left lane, lane 9.
All these guys feel that they can, at any time, throw a strike. So there's no lack of confidence in the ability of that they feel that they can do this. They can make good shots. When they don't strike, it's almost like they're shocked. I mean, I'm serious. It's almost like there's what happened? How could that possibly happen? So they don't really work real hard on their spares. They don't shoot that many. So it's always an adventure when they shoot spares.
And Lickstein gets the spare in the first. Let's look at their lineup. The Contour Power Grip starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too, and a good lineup it is. Jim Johnson Jr. will be their anchor man. Now Steve Fair, first frame Turbo.
Hello. That's not the way you want to start things out against the tournament leaders. They led it by a couple hundred pins, so that means they're bowling very good in the match play portion. And Steve Fair sets it down a little bit early, goes through the middle of the head pin and the 6, 7, 10. Now, don't count Steve out in this shot. He's very capable of sliding the 6 across into the 7, cross lane, switching bowling balls. Well,
Great effort from Fair.
that's about a 16th of an inch from being perfect. That's a little over 60 feet, a 16th of an inch, pretty small target. Here's another look at it. It's the ball straightened out of the back, get just a piece of that head, of the 6 pin. And that would have picked up the 4-6, I think.
Mike Mullen, second frame. Beautiful shot from another left-hander, Mike Mullen.
Outstanding collegiate player, and again, the lefties could be the factor in this match. So keep a good eye on them because they are pumped. And there you see Mike Lickstein with his arm around that young guy saying, hey, way to go, Pards. Stay awake, Mike. All right.
In head-to-head, Columbia Cuda-Seas defeated Turbo 2-in-1 Grips 383-375.
You know, it's a major factor in our top players on the, not only on the PBA Tour, but amateurs around the country, is what the collegiate program's been doing for the last 15 to 20 years. It's getting stronger all the time, and these are the products of that. A young player like that, a young player like the left-hander you saw just a moment ago. These guys are products of the collegiate programs, and the instructions that they can get there are outstanding. So they come out 19, 20, 21 years old out of college with great games. They're ready to go. They're not afraid of anybody. What we used to have to go out and learn through experience, they're taught firsthand at high school and collegiate level.
Here is the third left-hander in this Columbia team, Mr. Gallen.
Watch this. The messenger again. The light hit destroys the rack, and he got the messenger off the wall. Here's another look at it. Now watch the ball. Watch the 5-pin go. Take out the 10. The head pin comes off the wall, comes all the way back across, and does the job on the 7.
Now Dave Bernhardt, third frame for Turbo. Remember, Dave had some trouble in that semifinal.
Oh, a lot more room here. Beautiful. The difference in that shot and the previous ones is he got it out on the lane 3 or 4 feet in the air.
So Columbia Kuta Seas, our top seed, off to an early 11-pin lead. We'll be right back. For a dandy, our championship match. Brian Bogosian now 4th frame for Columbia Kuta Seas, their first right-hander in the lineup.
A lot of ball speed there, and he was very successful with that. Watching him in match play, Bob, you and I were standing back here all afternoon watching these guys, and it looked to me like he was playing right up the ball track then, and he tried to do it here. And if you're strong enough, you can get away with that. But it takes a great deal of strength, because there's a lot more oil in the middle of the lane than there is outside. And you get it outside, out of your hand on the outside part of the lane, it wants to hook and beat.
And the spare for Bogosian in the 4th. Let's look at some of the qualifying averages. And Earl, how do you explain the jump from Baker up from regular?
You know, that's really hard to say. One day to the next, the same guys, same bowlers, but normally the Baker average is a little lower. Maybe there's a slight change in lane conditions. I doubt it, but he's a great guy doing the lanes. I'll tell you what, this guy, Bert Kellerman, who does the lanes for us, been around forever. He knows exactly how to lay a pattern out there and make it consistent. So I doubt if he changed it. I think the guy just figured out the lane condition and, you know, just started making better and better shots. We talked, you know, I'm making a speech here, but we talked about how talented our full field was. And this kind of gives you an idea. They improved the first day of the session.
Sure. You get paid per word, Earl?
Pardon?
You get paid per word?
Yes, I do.
Good.
I get a nickel a word, and I'm getting as many as I can in here. There's a look at the match play records, and Columbia was dominant there.
8-2 in match play, and look at how dominant they were. Round by round, they never left that top spot.
Another guy throws it hard and straight.
Jim Johnson Jr., anchorman for Columbia.
Jimmy Johnson can bowl 300s like most people bowl 200s. He's got a ton of them.
43 of them, 3rd all time. Now Ted Hannes, who put on quite a show in their semifinal victory over Vice Grips. He was 4 for 4 in that second game of the semifinal match.
I got a feeling he's going to have to get them going early here, because this Columbia Kuta C team is ready. Boy, they're pumped and they want to win this badly.
Well, Hannes has 6 strikes in a row.
About as good as you can do it. We'll take,
yeah,
we'll take a look at the form of Ted Hannes. Now watch him. He's going to walk away from you about 1.5 feet to the south. He's going to look at his footwork. He crosses them over, but look at the cupped wrist. At the bottom, he keeps it in that position all the way through. It takes tremendous strength and then rotates up and around the side to create that back end, that hitting power.
It's a 10-pin lead for Columbia. Mike Lickstein, 6th.
Got a break. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been the 3, the 7, and the 9. Only the 3-pin. And Mike, a very good spare shooter. You'd never know it by watching his approach, but this kid can play with anybody. He's really tough. And there's Mike Lickstein, spares in match play, 13 for 13. So that ought to tell you something. Mike just doesn't make his spares like this one pinner. He hits him right in the middle. You know, he hits the middle of the pin.
He's fun to watch, isn't he? A spare for Lickstein in the 6th.
He's a good kid, too. He's good-natured, just like his father. His father, Larry Lickstein, worked on the tour still works on the tour. He does player services out there, and Mike's been bowling since he was old enough to look in the door of a bowling center. They're just good people.
Now Steve Fair, second time around for him. Sixth frame. Beautiful shot from Fair.
Well, this is how you get 10 in the pit, folks. Take a look at the form of Steve Fair, ABC Hall of Famer. We looked at it once before in the earlier matches. Now watch again how he keeps everything really steady, shoulders out in front, swing just about shoulder high, and pulls real hard at the bottom. Keeps the shoulders right over the knee.
Well, we thought we'd have a dandy in our championship match, and we do. They're even after 6 frames of our first game. We'll be right back. 21-year-old Mike Mullins, 7th frame for Columbia Coup de Seas. He started the second frame, but not here.
Well, it kind of looked like what Lichtenstein did just a moment ago, only the 3-pin. They're not getting the back end they expect. They're being just a little bit gun shy there. Afraid the ball's going to hook high in the head pin. But again, good spare shooter here, as you see on the screen in the graphics there. 11 for 11 in match play.
As a team, they were 87% for spares, and Mullen converts another one here.
Makes you wonder who missed them all, doesn't it? You got 2 guys there are perfect. They didn't miss very many, that's for sure.
This is the 3rd event of this 1995-96 season. First one in San Antonio, Texas, won by the Boulevard Bowl team of Edmond, Oklahoma. And then in Portland, Oregon, won by the Shop of Tacoma, Washington. So the winner here will join those 2 in our grand championship field. Kurt Pylon, 7th frame for Turbo.
Boy,
2 in a row for him.
He got all of that one too. Let me tell you what. He was working really hard to get his fingers, thumb deep into that bowling ball, and when he let go of it, look at the rotation, the power of this bowling ball. Very little deflection in the pocket area. 10 in the pit.
An 11-pin lead now for our number 2 seed, Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. Remember, they won the semifinal match by 56.
You look at the face of this young man, Patrick Allen, only 25 years old. This guy finished 2nd in the American Bowling Congress Masters Championships. He's been around for a long time, and that was just 2 years ago, 1993. So he knows how to play in top flight competition, and he makes great shots normally when he needs to. And here again, a good shot by Patrick Allen. Only the 6-pin, pretty easy spare here. They need to throw some strikes. They got to stay close. They don't want Turbo 2-in-1 to build up the big lead as they did in the opening match when they bowled vice grips, that 50-pin lead.
Allen taking his time here in the 8th, but gets the spare for Columbia.
Well, let's see if Big Dave can keep it going for his team. They are on 3 in a row, and a chance to build a substantial lead here.
Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, again, they were 6 and 4 in match play. This man, Bernhardt, along with Hannes and Fair, were on the Turbo team that finished 2nd in the Grand Championships in 1995. They want to go back.
That ball never had a chance again to get to the right side. The one he threw that struck for him in the, the 3rd frame, he got it well out on the lane, gave it plenty of room, got it out in the lane 4 or 5 feet in the air. This one, again, he set it down and tried to force it back to the pocket and never got to the right side of the head pin.
All right, Dave.
And the spare in the 8th for Bernhardt.
Well, Coup de Seas, we talked about the 3 lefties. It comes down to the 2 right-handers bowling 9th and 10th to bowling the 9th and 10th frame to keep them in the match here in this first game of the 2 games, total pins.
62% strikes for this man, Brian Bogosian.
Look at the ball.
He's got one there.
It's the high, hard one there. That's, the Seattle Mariners could use him to pitch relief this afternoon, I think.
We've got a good one here in our championship match. Glad you're with us. Hubbard, Ohio, Belwick Bowl, the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Number 2 seed Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. This is Nick Whistler in the 9th.
Hello. Does it turn around quick in this Baker system or what? There you go. All of a sudden, they're out in front. It looks like they got a chance to really build a tremendous lead with 3 frames to go in the first game. And all of a sudden, they get a spare and maybe an open. Here, the 2, the 4, and the 10. Try to get the ball between the 2-4. You want the 2 to fly into the 10 pin. Down the left side of the lane.
So a big open in the 9th for Turbo.
Big turnaround and puts Columbia Kudos in the lead for the first time.
And brings us to their anchor man, Jim Johnson Jr.
Actually, for the second time, I was wrong again. They were leading after the first frame. Here's another guy who can really get it down there in a hurry. A lot of ball speed.
He's 2 for 2 in this championship match.
I'd really like to know why they decided. See, they're the tournament leaders. They get to pick the lane they want to start on. I wonder why they picked that lane. Do you think because they felt lane 9 was more difficult? They wanted to get it out of the way early, and because they have 3 lefties on their team, they didn't think it would affect them as much as it would Turbo 2 and 1. They want Turbo 2 and 1 to finish on the tough lane with 5 right-handers. That's the way I see it. I'd like to know what they think. They've got 2 right-handers that don't really play the lane. They overpower it. They got 3 left-handers that are playing the other side of the lane. So they're playing completely different than Turbo 2 and 1. It's like 2 different kinds of bowling completely.
Is that what you would have done if you were making that decision?
No question. I would always want the other team to finish on the difficult lane if I could make that happen.
Well, they're doing pretty well on this difficult lane number 9. Johnson looking for 4 for 4 for him.
Got the job done. Great finish for Columbia Kudasi.
225.
Now it's up to Ted Hannes to keep his team in the match. The last thing he wants to do is make a mistake. So he's looking, first of all, get the ball in the pocket area. Can't strike, give me an easy spare.
Now Hannes, Earl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikes in a row for Ted Hannes. In fact, he's 8 for 9.
I can see him striking all day long. It's amazing, his consistency, when you consider how he gets from this point to the foul line. Now watch the feet. Left, left, here he comes back.
There's another 7 in a row for Hannes.
That's why he's bowling 5th, I guess. What do you think?
That may be it.
Well, you have yet to have anybody collect on that $25,000 for a 300 game in the Baker system on television. First team to do it.
Are you saying we may see one here in the second game?
Who knows?
The way these guys are lining up.
The way they're lining up, it could happen. Look at all the strikes that Columbia Kudasi's got in that first game. You know,
25 grand.
They were 7 for 12 in the first game, so 5 more, and there they are. Easy, nothing to it, right? All right.
Not that time.
He did the important thing. He didn't open the 10th, which would have been disaster for Turbo 2 and 1 grips. What he did is he got the mark, had a chance to actually diminish their lead by 10 pins. But what he did, more importantly, is he got 20 pins in the 10th. Kept them in the match.
Well, our number 1 seed, Columbia Kudasi, will have the lead as we enter our second game of this 2-game total pinfall match. The lead is 23. The first game score, 225, 202. We'll be right back. Game 1 of our championship match goes to Columbia Kudasi, 225 to 202 over Turbo 2 and 1 grip, so a 23-pin lead as we head into our final game. Remember, it's total pinfall. Steve Fair will start it off for Turbo. They had the big lead in the semifinals. Now, though, they have to play catch-up in the finals.
Steve's still struggling on the left-hand lane, as they did, but then they got lined up. So I'm kind of surprised that he would make a shot like that. But that's basically the way he started the opening game. Threw it through the nose, got the big split. Almost picked it up, remember? All right, this spare, not any easier than basically that split. The 3-6-10 is a tough spare. Ball wants to hook in the middle, so be careful. There it is. Not the way you want to start the championship game.
Not when you're down by 23.
And as Chris Berman from ESPN would say, he's, Steve, better than fair.
Oh, I think he'd say better than that, Earl.
I know. That's why I'm here and he's there, right?
That's right.
All right. Here's a look at the approach of a very unique player, very talented player. Michael Lichstein. We'll get a look at it for you. Again, you can practice this approach in your living room. If you get the couch and a few chairs out of the way, you've got a chance. But if you don't have plenty of room, don't try this. Here's a look at him. Watch his feet. 1, 2, 3, maybe.
Okay.
Well, maybe I won't. Yeah. Well, I guess I will.
Go ahead and do it.
And look at that hand position, and then rip the holes out of the ball at the bottom.
Has he ever explained to you, Earl, where he picked up that?
He came over to me before we went on the air and he says, now don't forget to tell everybody that I have the ideal approach. He says, try to get everybody to copy this because they can all be good bowlers if they can get through the foul line as well as I can. He doesn't even look at the pins when he starts his approach. I mean, he's in his second step before he even looks up.
Yeah. Oh, nice pick here in the first frame, though, for Lichstein.
I love his smile. He's such a good kid.
He always
He's
has a good time out here.
Yeah. He's explaining exactly what happened there to one of his teammates, right down to the last rotation.
Kurt Pylon, second frame. Pylon's on a streak here of his own, 3 strikes in a row. But remember, now they've switched lanes, so this is his first ball over here.
I think he switched bowling balls. It looks to me like he's gone to a different bowling ball, and that just overreacted for him.
Now, why, if you've had 3 strikes in a row, would you switch bowling balls?
Well, maybe on this lane he felt he needed that particular ball. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to go ask him, to be honest with you. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he didn't. But it looked to me like he did switch bowling balls there. And I guess the 4, 6, 7. And about all you can do here is take 2. And right now, Turbo 2-in-1 Grips is digging a hole and may not be able to get out of it.
That's 2 open frames to begin this second game of the championship match. 1 from Fair and 1 from Pylon.
All right.
Mike Mullen, Chuck Hall's Star of Tomorrow winner back in 1994. He's just 21 years old, and he bowls for St. John's University.
Very determined young man, very aggressive player. Look at that, beautiful. There's a look at it. You can see the real heavy end-over-end rotation he gets out there, and the last pin down the 7, and his reaction, he's in the air right now. That's a 360-degree in the air, in-your-face spin right there.
Here's one of the men who spent a lot of time here this week, Earl, putting in a lot of hours. And we thank Brian. Great job.
Real good shot there by Dave Bernhardt, and they've got to get it going, and a spare even is good right now. But that had a great chance of striking. Now the easy spare, you make the conversion, get your team moving in the right direction. Stop the open, stop the bleeding.
And he does. But still the lead with those 2 strikes for Columbia to begin the second game was up to 46. From 23 to 46. Patrick Allen, third frame.
Patrick, I think, is going to throw this one just a little bit harder than he's been throwing the ball. A little more direct, a little more ball speed. Well, it's speed and more direct, but he just got it going too quickly up toward the head pin and crossed over. And leaves only the 4 pin. Shouldn't be any problem for Patrick. Here's another look at it. He's really just yanked on this ball to get the speed he wanted, and just pulled it, created and jerked the ball up toward the head pin, and had never had a chance to stay on the left side. He's trying to do what the young guy did earlier. The young guy being Mike Mullen, throwing hard and straight, and just get the back end in the last 5 feet. Didn't work for him. A lot of concentration on these spares. They know how important they can be, and he missed it. Oh boy, major mistake there. It just, when you make a mistake like that on an easy spare, it just deflates your team. Now they got to get all pumped up again, and what it does for the other team is say, hey, we're still in this match. Here we go. They're going to give it to us. Let's go get them, guys. And now you're down to the guys that can make it happen. This guy here, and right behind him, Ted Hannes.
34-pin lead. Wissinger in the 4th.
Wissinger whisked the head pin right there. 1, 2, 4, and the 8. The idea here will be get the ball on the left side of the head pin between the 1, 2. Let the ball do all the work for you. Another good game here. Good arm swing. A lot of balls.
And he gets the spare. Now let's see how Columbia Kudasys responds after that open in the third from Allen. In the fourth, it's Brian Bogosian. And you like his game a lot, Earl.
I like anybody that can take the ball and overpower the lane condition when the condition is difficult. And it's not an extremely difficult condition, but it's the kind where you've got to keep the ball in the pocket area and watch the ball speed here. Well, that got down early. That's staying there, but he got lucky. Only the 3-pin. You can't let the ball down off your hand early, and that's exactly what he did. It got to the lane long before he wanted it to. He's got to get it out in front of him. Watch this. The ball's on the lane, right? It's already leaving his hand. See that? It's already coming down onto the floor right there. You've got to get rid of it on the upswing, not at the bottom, like that. See how he got that one? That's the difference.
A spare in the fourth for Columbia. Their lead 34 pins.
Here's the man of the hour.
Sure is.
Big Ted.
7 strikes in a row for this guy. And 8 of 9 overall.
Tremendous concentration. Takes a lot of time. Well, this is makeable, believe it or not. Not an easy spare, obviously, but the way to make it, if you want to make it, is to shoot for the 4-7. Try to slide the 4-pin. Those are the 2 pins on the left into the 9-10. Excuse me, into the 6 and the 9. If he goes for the 2 pins on the right-hand side, his chances of making are very slim. And we see Ted is lining up on the right side of the approach. He's going to take a shot at this. He's going to try to play it like he's picking up the 6-8. Excuse me, 4-9. Yeah, no chance.
Well, another open for Turbo 2-in-1 grips.
You see the smile and the laugh there. What he's laughing about is he almost bounced it out of the pit. Got it to the back door, as they would say. Here comes another high, hard one.
Johnson, yep. He got another one. He's perfect in this championship match, and Columbia Kudasys, our #1 seed, appears on their way to the championship. They have a nice, cozy lead. Up by 54. We'll be right back. A pair of strikes in the 6th frame while we were away. A strike from Fair, a strike from Lichstein. So the lead is 64 pins now for Columbia Kudasys, our top seed. 7th frame now, Kurt Pylon. 64 pin lead. Pylon the strike in the 7th.
Chances are slim for Turbo 2-in-1 at this point, but again, Baker system, who knows? Columbia Kudasys can't relax on that lead. They've got to continue to be aggressive, and if anybody's aggressive, I mentioned before, this young man is it. He'll go up there and he'll attack. That's how he knows how to play the game. That's how you learn. Be aggressive.
Very composed though too. Aggressive and composed.
A lot of ball speed here. Couldn't hold it. Just overthrew it, and it got off his hand early. Sometimes that happens. Because he's trying to just throw it right through the hooking part of the lane. Force it down the lane, and it just got off just a little early off his thumb, and that makes that early hook. Sometimes you pull so hard in that backswing, you pull a little early and it falls off your hand. Take another look at it. He's pulling so hard right here. Everything you see, that look at him, look at his shoulders. Just pulling so hard, he just never could get the ball really on line. Not an easy spare. The left-hander, he's got to hook it. Oh. Here we go.
Well, the door opens a little bit.
Welcome to the pressures of the Baker system.
Now let's see what Bernhardt can do.
Well, he's the key. If Dave Bernhardt can get a strike here, his team is back in the match. If he can't, you know, he's the weakest point in that team, in my opinion. And if he doesn't strike here, then they're hurt. But if he can get it to the next guy and then to Hannah's, they've got a chance. He's gonna have to be lucky. That's disaster, because not only does he lose a lot of pin count, which at that going into that shot they had a 4-pin lead in pin count. Now it goes the other way. And if he should open, this is not an easy spare. It's a very tough spare. If he should miss this, the match is over. Good cover.
He made it.
Great cover.
the lead's still a comfortable one for Columbia Coups, 42 pins.
Be interesting to see what Patrick Allen can do right here. Remember last time he went high on the head pin, he tried to overthrow the ball. Will he trust it and let it hook back, or will he try to overthrow it again? Let's see what he can do. He's going to let it hook a little bit. That's when you leave the 7, when he come in a little bit high in the head pin with tremendous ball speed. So what he did is he backed off just a hair on the ball speed, went around the ball with his hand a little bit to try to make it finish, and we'll take a look at that. Here's Patrick Allen from the side. Watch the height of the backswing. Real free, long, high backswing. Relaxed wrist, but watch when he pulls this through. He looks like Sandy Koufax letting go of that fastball. Right at the bottom, tremendous. Everything he's got into that shot as far as ball speed goes, and went around the side, but he still left a 7, and he has to make the spare.
Remember, he missed an easy spare.
And he missed another one. I don't know about him, but I was nervous. Filling the frames. So often we've said that. 42 pin lead with 2 to go. Strike's a must here for Turbo 2-1.
It's Nick Wissinger. And he gave it to him.
Puts it in Ted Hanna's lap for the anchor man. But really, all that's necessary for Columbia is to fill the frames. If they can fill frames, they have nothing to worry about. But again, you've got to be aggressive. Don't go out and just say, well, we've got a lead, I'll try to play safe here. Try to play safe, more than likely you'll get the open. They're down to the guys that are really aggressive, real hard throwers. Zip bang.
Beautiful ball from Bogosian in the 9th. And his teammates off to greet him as he returns.
Really, that does the job right there. They don't even need a mark in the 10th now. Just keep it on the lane. Don't foul. Don't do anything stupid. And this is over, regardless of what Ted Hanna said. We've got a winner there, Bob.
Well, perhaps it's only fitting, Earl. Columbia Coups are #1 seed, and as you've mentioned, they really did dominate.
They did. In the match play, they were the team to beat. When you average 208 in the Baker system, as they did, and won 8 out of 10 matches, it's pretty hard to catch you. Of course, Hannah's just finishing out the string, saying thank you very much.
Sir. I think we're going to see this Turbo 2-1 Grips team down the road, huh?
Yeah,
Very
we will
good,
see.
powerful lineup.
No question about it. We'll see them all back. Maybe not this 5 guys, but they'll all, as individuals, definitely be back to play some more. In this World Team Challenge. We've got a lot of weeks left, and boy, I'll tell you what. You have to give Tom Odecker a call at ABC headquarters. You want to get involved with this, because this is what it's all about. This is team bowling at its best.
Well, this is our 4th season, 28 tournaments in 22 U.S. cities, including 22 Open Division, 6 Women's Division. Some of our upcoming events, Earl, November 4th and 5th in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the ABC West Lanes. Jim Johnson Jr. going to close it out for Columbia Coups. Then to Orange County, California, the Regal Lanes, November 18th and 19th. Fountain Valley Lanes, women's shows, these are November 18th and 19th. Then January, we go down to Florida, the Sunshine Lanes and the Showboat Lanes in Las Vegas, January 20th to 21st. You want to get in, call Tom Bodecker, 414-423-3415. Call them soon, because they go in a hurry. Our winners, there they are, Columbia Coups. They have advanced to our Grand Championship event, the 3rd team this year to advance, and we'll be back to talk with them in just a minute. For the winners, Columbia Coups, and here they are, your champions, and they will go to the Grand Championship event. Mike Lichting, congratulations to you and the club. You guys seemed in control all week long, true?
We kind of were, Bob. We've had some problems on TV in the past, and it's good to erase it and get on with the show.
Tell us about the decision to start here on lane 9, start the final match.
Well, I liked it because the last time we won in 1993, we started on the left-hand lane, so that was in the back of my mind. Patrick, Jimmy, they agree, Brian, Michael, so we just went with it. It was just a gut feeling.
I bet you guys got room in the car or the plane or whatever for a few things here, don't you? Ed Zitnick, how you doing, Ed? Great job all week.
Doing fine. A lot of good bowling this week.
Ed, thanks. Why don't you pass that along to Mike and the group? Thanks, Ed, for all your work this week.
And from ABC with us, Dennis Zarniska. Dennis, hi, how you doing? Come on in. What do you got?
Doing great, Bob. Mike, you guys bowled great all weekend. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
On behalf of the 2.2 million members of the American Bowling Congress, I'd like to present you with your championship rings. You'll also be receiving championship jackets, compliments of Lynn's, and best of luck to you in the Grand Championships. Good job, guys.
Dennis, thank you. Mike, thank you again. Congratulations again to the winners here in Hubbard, Ohio. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Good to see you with us. For Earl Anthony, I'm Bob Dolan. So long, everybody, from Hubbard, Ohio.